everyone, we're here with Brent Koning, the gaming guy, the EVP of Dentsu Gaming. So if we continue this conversation about gaming as some sort of marketing fabric, right?
Yeah.
I believe that gamers are pretty engaged, loyal guys, right? So you're playing a game, you want this experience to be quite holistic and like...
Guys and girls.
Important.
Very important.
Whew, thank you. I believe that you don't want to have any disruptions within this gaming process, right? You're playing, so basically whenever the game is disrupted by an ad or a banner,
Yeah.
you know, it's not ideal. However, in the report, we're using this phrase, reach attention ads.
Yeah.
That's quite bougie, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, ads that are reaching attention, that's what we are aiming for as marketers.
Yeah.
How do we actually create such an experience that is not disruptive for gamers playing a game and still kind of deliver the message into that world?
Yeah, it's really, really simple, and I have a lot of debates with industry friends, friends that are at brands, like past colleagues and everything. It's about value, like straight up, it's about value. And what do you value? As an example, I value time, right? So for me to go beat a level, if you give me an ad and I can't beat the level, I will pay 99 cents to go and beat that level.
Okay.
So for me, I value the time saying, hey, I'm not going to mess this level. I'm going to go forward. Now there's a value exchange there. If I'm playing and an ad pops up and is like, you can't complete this level until you watch this ad, that's different.
Yeah.
And I think that's where intrinsic advertising has a lot of room to grow. But the mobile kind of ether is welcoming for that type of experience. If you die, you can revive with an ad. You can get an extra heart. You can get an extra level. You can get an extra care package. You can skip a level. You can have a buddy help you with sharing of things to go craft a tool to go break down the door. So it's like that. There's value in a value exchange.
And all of a sudden, it's elevating the experience.
Totally. And I use sports a lot. My background's in sports entertainment. So like when I go and start to look at very simple kind of value exchange, like ad exchange things, like in the States, baseball's huge, right? So you go to baseball, you get a foam finger, and on the front it says, "Go San Francisco Giants." But on the back, it says, "Presented by Toyota."
Yeah.
Are people up in arms like, oh, this Toyota's in my face? No, they're not, because they have the foam finger that says "Go San Francisco Giants."
Yes.
And so I think about the very plain and simple its argument. It's about value and value exchange. If you're going to mess with that experience, then there's probably not probably not the value exchange there. But so as the industry gets smarter, as our brands start to get smarter, as all of the holdcos, industry-wide start to get smarter, which we all need to do. We need all the rising tides to raise all of the ships.
Yeah.
As advertising gets smarter in game, it's going to be a more seamless experience, and it just has to be. The publishers have to be part of that process. Media has to be part of that process. Developers have to be part of that process. But as games get more expensive, advertising is a way to help that. And as a super fickle, demanding consumer, right? I want a perfect game. I want it now, right?
Yeah.
As that takes place, we need to find different ways to get revenue into the industry. And that is why I think it will go from 5% up to 10%, is because it will be smarter, it'll be more effective, and it'll give value back to the consumer and player.
So like the key outtake, never mess with the experience.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, right?
Well, totally. And I think, or mess with it, or deliberately mess with it, and have it be part of the value exchange as part of the experience.
A gamer, like an average gamer, is getting older, right? So the average age of a gamer, judging by the report, is 37.
Yeah.
And it used to be 33.
Yeah.
And if a gamer is a creator, so basically, if he is, let's say, streaming the way he's playing the games, the average age there is 32.
Yeah.
What does that tell us exactly? That they are getting older and there are more marketing opportunities, or?
Yeah, there's two ways to take this. One of which, and I'll be very careful with words here, because every day we're getting older, right?
Inevitably.
It's one thing you can't change, unfortunately, right? And so I think that when we start looking at stats and data and insights, you can slice up the data any way you want, but the average age of a gamer scaling up is actually maturing.
Yeah.
And I don't like the term necessarily older.
Like wiser.
Yeah.
More
Well,
awesome.
not even wiser, mature, like more mature, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing their kids along. So when you look at the kind of evolution of the gamer, and why I say maturing, not just necessarily getting older, they're literally getting older, but they're getting more wise. So my relationship with my kids today is far different than my relationship that I had with my parents when we were playing.
Okay.
Right? I never played once with my parents, like sat down and played like Super Mario Brothers. Whereas today, it's almost unheard of that you would sit down and play games, with your kids. And so it's this kind of like refreshing way of like thinking about the industry. But with looking at the age specifically, I was also shocked that it was so high. Because you hear about, Roblox coming up and it's, so young.
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, if you look at other forms of entertainment, those forms of entertainment are having drop off. Like, kids are not watching movies, right? People are not attending sporting events, whereas, you keep picking on Manchester United. But like the Manchester United fan is growing at an even quicker clip. And the reason why is because their kids aren't interested in football because they want to go play FIFA. FC. They want to go play games. They want to go be, doing different things and consuming content in a different way. And so I think it's a really valuable time for brands to evaluate that. And as you start to kind of narrowing, and these are big, huge data sets, right? These are big numbers, and we're pulling out those data and we're flashing them up on a page and we're saying the gamer's getting older.
Yeah.
Right? The reality is if you zoom in on some of that data and you go build a gaming strategy, you can go start to build your own segments, your own cohorts, and evaluate those for your brand, right? And I think that's again another like manifesto thing. It's okay to go and do that. If you're a consumer packaged good and you want to go and after a very specific target, then go build a segmentation based on that data. Don't take a stat from a report. Go build it yourself. Go build a gaming strategy. Stick it within your marketing mix. And then all of a sudden, you're marketing to the people, you're marketing where people want to be marketed to. So an ad popping up every once in a while is actually okay because you're providing value because you've researched enough to know that consumer packaged good actually makes sense for the person you're advertising to. Like, who would have thought? Smart advertising, right? Like that, when you're matching that demographic up with the segmentation and you're pulling those things together, you're bringing value to the consumer. And I think it seems like simple, but it's actually pretty complex when you think about like marketing direct to the gaming like segment. I think it's a really important thing to like think about.
There are two things happening here. So people are playing games. Also, people are sometimes watching other people playing games. Wild, multi-layered things happening here.
Yeah.
Right? So how do we view that second thing when people are watching the streamers and all that? What is the role of the user-generated content? Are there any criteria there for like potential success? Yeah. And what's in there for brands? Actually, should brands tap into those authentic streams from gamers and players?
Totally. I'm a little bit of call it traditionalist when it comes to this. And I pick on sports a lot as well. Everyone wants to pit these different industries in segments against each other. But the reality is, like, who would go and watch, someone go do something like mind-numbing for all this time? It's like, have you been to a baseball game? There's 30, 40, 50, 60,000 fans just watching, 10 people hit a ball
throw in a tiny ball.
Circle. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean people won't sit and watch? Like, that's the whole point of the foundation of sport. And I love it. I worked in sports, right? I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's this generational kind of get off my lawn. These gamers are in their parents' basement. Like I'm sorry, that's just done. It's we're over that. And like, let's move forward and talk about the fact that like kids can go build a game, can share it with their friends. They can then watch each other play it. And then we can have really clean, safe places to go and advertise on top of that in a space that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So you can go through and get advertised the things that you want to be advertised to about. It can provide a value exchange back to the viewer and the player. And the way these gaming mechanisms work, these kids and creators are getting paid for their creation. It's like, that's better than going to a baseball game or a movie. The value exchange in a movie is going and watching the movie. You don't get after the movie. It's great. It's euphoria and experience and everything. But in, gaming, you can pick it up the next day. You have it on your phone. You have it on your console. You have it on your Switch and your tablet and everything. So these creator worlds are much more similar to like Lego than it is a movie or sport or another pastime. And I think that's where you start to like really kind of piece these things together. And Minecraft, again, is a great example. Like, you go build an environment, you return to that environment, and you play with that environment, and like that's okay. And like, everyone needs to be okay with that. Like, we're moving forward in society.
That's happening. Deal with it.
At a clip of hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
So I think that's like again, this breakthrough moment for us in the report is really, hopefully it turns into a little bit of a love letter to marketers internally who are sitting, oh man, my boss is not going to approve this thing, and the board's not going to approve this budget and all this stuff. Here is 20 examples inside agency world, outside of agency world, and in the industry where it's acceptable and it's encouraged, and actually you're going to be left behind if you don't. Flipping that script is really the point of why we're kind of here talking about this. And I think it's a really important piece to a marketer's own kind of style, going and doubling down on something that you believe in. Like, here's a report that provides some backboard.
Just some fresh ideas for you guys.
Some fodder to go and sort through it.
Just to understand this creative side of things a bit better. So players can stream. That's when they become creators as well.
Yep.
Players can create.
Yep.
Let's say, create your own game within a gaming platform.
Yep.
What else can they do to actually be a part of this creative process, not just playing?
Yeah, you want to create like a little nucleus of your IP, but like, again, I'll keep using these different analogies to try and like dispel some of like the rumors and the myth around like gamers. Like, if you're out, and I keep picking on Manchester United. Apologies.
You aren't a fan, are you?
I know people there. Hopefully they're not watching. But no, like, you don't wear a Premier League sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Right? You wear a Manchester United kit. Like, you don't wear an NBA hat. You wear a Portland Trailblazers hat, right? You own and you subscribe to your sports team, right? With gamers and players again, hundreds of millions, they're doing the same thing, right? If you are a fan of a game, it's very likely that you have more than one game. It's very likely that you have a licensed product from one of those games. It's very likely that if McDonald's is running a promo for one of your games, you're going to go get those things and you're going to go participate in that. You're subscribing to the gaming IP, and you're subscribing to that kind of lifestyle of what it actually means to kind of have like fandom. And I think we don't use that term with the gaming community a lot, but you're really building fandom, and like that fandom then builds more than one fan, then turns into fans, more than two fans turns into fandom, a bunch of people supporting and fandom becomes community, right? And then you have this massive kind of layered approach, and then all of a sudden you're playing, video game football with 35 million of your closest friends. And so as it's kind of like layers and layers and layers and on, like, it's like, why wouldn't you want to spend money and be part of that ecosystem, right? A bunch of other people are also wearing, an EAFC hat. I'm in, right? And I think where you break the fourth wall is you look at these platforms and you can then dress your avatar in the same type thing, or not.
Nice.
Or not, really. Like, if I want to be a unicorn in Roblox, I can be. And you know what? That's totally okay. And I think that like has this whole nother dimension to like it really being okay to be a gamer and like participate in that world, because you can kind of remove or not like any misconceptions about yourself and really go participate with a community of people that are similar to you or not. And I think it's like a super valuable tap in for brands. Like I want to be part of that. Like, you know, as a marketer, like if I could know that I could tap into this really kind of creative group of people who are creating, playing, viewing, like sharing, right, talking about, like that, I'm in. I'm in on, and I think, I mean, I personally am in on that, right? I subscribe to podcasts of people that my friends tell me about. The reason why I do that is because we're a little bit similar, or maybe a little bit different, but we still go through it, and we can do that together.
What is your favorite fact or like the main outtake from the report?
Interestingly, we touched on this a bit already, and I think the maturing age of the player and the gamer, I think, is really interesting and cool. It was probably the biggest shock of kind of the of all that, but I think probably the most interesting thing is, you know, Ed talks about, he works in, you know, our gaming team talks about the indie games and how important like indie games are for the kind of the player. It can be really expensive to go and play a AAA game. You have to have a connection, you know, you have to have the internet, you've got to have you know, a subscription, you got to have fast internet, you got to have a monitor. Like, it can be kind of cumbersome. Sometimes it's actually just really fun. Yeah. Just kind of side scroll and check out. And that's encouraged in like the new world of gaming. And so,
like, there's this concept, cozy gaming or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just gonna say is like, it's okay to grab a cup of coffee, sit down, and play your game. And I think that is another fundamental difference in the other forms of entertainment, and actually really the other forms of like a pastime. If marathons are your thing,
no marathon runners here at the table.
Okay. You're spending hours and hours and hours a day training, and you're getting this amazing euphoria of you know, the experience of running that marathon. It's awesome. But sometimes it's okay to also just kind of go on a walk, right? It's a full spectrum of things. With gaming, it's the same.
Whatever makes you feel better.
Totally. And cozy gaming, I think, is like this really great concept of just like really simple experiences and that are easy to make, that are not super time consuming, that you can just participate with. As a marketer, do you want to get the marathon runner to sell shoes? Yeah. But also, I'm not a marathon runner, I wear shoes. So there's like the right time, the right place. Yeah. It's like really, really important. So I think that was another like pretty cool takeaway from that trend, because it's also rising in viewership as well. So on like Twitch, like just chatting on Twitch is oftentimes the most watched thing that's taking place. So there's random people doing random things, and then they can flip over to watch League of Legends. They can flip over to watch cooking or learn to play guitar or any of those things. I think that's what like these communities are really great at, is just kind of being together and making sure you can kind of go and do whatever you want to do.
Cool. Want to know my favorite fact?
Yeah.
Weird as hell. So we're looking into like different behavioral patterns among players. So for example, people who are buying luxurious fashion goods, they play games. People who are, I don't know, like are going to 7-Eleven to, you know, buy some snacks, they play games and all that. So basically, one of the findings in the report is that like 50-something% of gamers would love to actually order from within the game. Yeah. You know, so that the food would be brought into the house, and they would not like, sort of, you know, have to stop playing the game. Which kind of creates a shoppable moment within the game. And it's a massive opportunity for quick service restaurants. Yeah. Right? So, I mean, there's a separate slide on that. Yeah. The thing is that one of my favorite facts about Great Britain, where we are now, by the way, is that in the 18th century, there was this guy, Earl of Sandwich, who was actually a passionate gambler. And he was so into gambling that he never wanted to stop. And he ordered his like servants to go and create a sandwich, like a piece of meat with 2 slices of bread, so that he could eat while playing without disrupting the game. So I think, like, you know, centuries pass, but the needs of the gamers are still there to not disrupt the gaming experience and to food to actually be delivered to their gaming table. Yeah,
and to be honest, it's already happening, right? And so I think there was just a promotion, I think it was Diablo, I don't remember actually which title it was, but you could go on Deliveroo and order things. It was like, oh, do you want us to pick up a copy of the game?
Ah, nice.
So that's already taking place. Again,
Yeah.
reverse order, but like those things are already taking place. But like Roblox just announced that in 25, 26, they're going to have Shopify experience. So it's like if you're a fan of whatever thing, and you can go and hit a couple buttons or a couple mouse clicks, and you have it show up on your porch. So that's amazing.
So that's what we call total experience.
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like bring it on over here.
Yeah, I mean the other like kind of interesting thing now, kind of going back through the pages, is like the luxury connection was interesting as well.
Yeah.
Like obviously, if you have direct discretionary income, like there are things that you would go like. Gaming is inherently free, right? And so it's no surprise that people that enjoy luxury items also enjoy gaming.
Yeah.
I think this stat is 3 out of 4. Like that's crazy, right? And I think luxury brands are doing a great job in our clients and others are doing great work in having brand recognition and in like participating in space. My kind of word of caution always to brands is you can't fake it though in gaming. You have to be all in. And so in order to be all in, you have to participate at kind of every level and earn your way and earn your kind of trust and respect into that community of gamers around specific titles generally.
Yeah.
And so just like quick flashy here and there things, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't work. Well, it's like that's not healthy. That doesn't work. So going back to like what we originally talked about, I was like, you need to have a strategy. It needs to be pulled forward. You can't be test and learn. You have to make sure you're committing to it. Get the right data in the cohorts and get the right segments built so that you're doing really effective, smart, strategic work for those segments.
Yeah.
And then these stats become your, KPIs as you're building that plan out for your pitch to your boss or your board or whomever for more money to spend in gaming. I mean, that's the unlock, is using the right positioning internally within your brand to go unlock those things. So
reverting to our initial starting point of this conversation, everybody's a gamer. It's okay to be a gamer. Marketers, use it wisely.